You're listening to Roger That on IRN, the Internet Radio Network. You're listening to Roger That on IRN. The following Internet program contains strong language, very strong language, situations, possible alcohol use, definite drug use, and possible wombat sodomy. Viewer discretion is advised. All suspects are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and everyone and everything in between. This is Roger That. We do this every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time for those of you in the United States of America. Give me 1 second. I need to lower. My light is too loud. Oop, wrong way. Nope. Yeah, we go. That's a little better. So how's everybody doing? So like you saw in the title, is this my last show? Is this my last show? Inquiring minds want to know. It is actually somewhat of my last show. That ties into the big announcement I have for this evening. It is my last show here in the sound booth. That's the big news. I am going to be taking this show to an actual studio that has actual studio stuff. Not quite. It's all still my own shit. Just let me live the dream, people. Please let me live the dream. If you're watching this on the YouTubes, thank you. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell icon. But if you're listening to this on the IRN, the Internet Radio Network, that means that you're awesome, and I appreciate it. And big thanks to Mike Peter for putting us on the IRN, irnbroadcast.net. Benny Mac, what happened? Are they trying to cancel you? They're always trying to cancel me, man. I happen to be fairly offensive, in case you did not notice that. They're constantly trying to cancel me. But that's the news. Is I'm taking the show to an actual studio, so no more sitting in a little 4x4 dark sound booth. As much as I love this as my workspace, it is nice to venture off and have actual studio. Hang on a second. I need to. It's bad when you can't remember logins. So anyhow, people, that's the big news. Moving to a studio. Actually, I'm going to be sharing space. If you're familiar with the Kevin Holly show, Mr. Kevin Holly will be sharing space with me. Not at the same time. That'd be a little annoying trying to do two radio shows in one studio space. But I'm very excited about it. I'm very happy about it. This is going to be some big things, some good things for not only this show, but for Kevin's show. There's going to be another show, which is going to be announced soon that we're going to be sort of related to. And I'm very, very excited about that. Seriously. Give me 1 second. Shit. Bear with me, people. Bear with me. I gotta get my shit together. I got a lot to talk about, and it's important. Damn, made the big time. Dude, Benny, thanks. First of all, thanks for listening. Studio time costs thousands. You the man. It's cheaper when you. I'm not gonna say what I did to get this studio space. Okay, it may be some weirder shit than what I did for a Klondike bar. We'll never know. But the fact of the matter is, it's going to happen. It's not like a legitimate radio studio. It's a studio that Kevin and I are going to be setting up to be able to do our shows and some other things that we're affiliated with. So I'm very excited about that. As much as it's nice to not have to travel to do the show and be able to do it from my home, it's just not very. It's not very conducive to what I want to accomplish as a show. I want to be able to have guests come in and interview them live in person. I happen to be a hermit. I don't like people coming to my house. So that's really not a thing I can do at home. My family is still out in the house and they have things that they do and that they're doing. So we want to try and, come to a resolution that benefits everybody. And I think moving to this new studio space will be fantastic for the show. So yeah, that's oops, hang on 1 second. No. It's amazing. You try to change your password and it says you can't remember your password. You change your password and it says, oh, you can't use the same password as you had. Like, I fucking put it in. The hell, man. It's crazy shit. So that's the news. As I said, it's it is my last show here. It's my last show here in the house. What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh, shit. Yahtzee, here we go. All right. Bear with me. I hate dead air, but I also don't like if I start talking as I'm, doing stuff, I'm going to start like just talking gibberish. So every now and again, you have to be quiet. It is what it is. So that's the news. The big changes are going to be, I'm going to block that. The biggest changes, the fuck? Yeah, done. The biggest changes is going to be having, people in studio and be able to, interview them live. That's always been, that was a thing when I had the Foo Bar show. If you're a layover from the Foo Bar days, that was a pretty awesome thing. Being able to interview people live. We've had some really cool people in the studio for that. I'm hoping to have some really cool people again. We're going to have fun. And that's where we're at. So, and I'm going to post on Facebook. I was a little slow getting in. Getting my shit together tonight. Had to cook dinner. Tonight was white people taco night. I made tacos in the white people fashion. So I had to cook, scarf that down, came in here, got everything set up. So a couple things I would like to talk about tonight. If you're watching on the Facebook, feel free to chime in, drop your commentary. But one of the things I wanted to talk about is this the football player Hamlin that took a nasty shot and damn near fucking actually theoretically he died on the field, which is fucking bonkers to me. It really is. He for those living under rocks, like I pretty much do most of the time anyway. There was a football player for the Buffalo Bills that took a nasty shot. Damar Hamlin's his name. He went to go make a tackle. He got hit in the chest. Now, for those of you who know me, know that I coached football for quite a long time. And there's a medical condition that occurs when a player gets hit in the chest. And a lot of times it affects youth players. Doesn't always affect adult players, of the NFL age. And it's called commotio cordis. And basically, it's like the perfect storm of shit going wrong. It's a precise moment in the cycle of a heart beating that the impact has to occur. It has to be significant enough at this exact, we're talking about like a millisecond window of time for this to happen. So it's so rare for it to happen, but it happens. The statistics of it are very, it's few and far between, but it is something that happens. A lot of times you'll see it in youth baseball players. They'll get hit in the chest by a pitch. If they're at bat, they'll get hit. They'll walk to first and then just collapse. They'll just drop. And that's the scariest thing. Like knowing that this is something that exists is something that truly scared the shit out of me. When I was playing ball, it scared the shit out of me. It scares the shit out of me today. It was one of the reasons why I was pushing and a big proponent of putting defibrillators on the fields, at all the fields within the county, and we were able to get a couple put out. Hey, every one helps. Those things are not cheap, so you got to pay for them. So anyhow, so this player gets hit, wicked hit, drops down, and he's pretty much dead on the field. EMS comes out, they resuscitate him, they run CPR, they defibrillate him, they get him back, they get him to the hospital, they have to intubate him, but he's got the tube out, he's on his own, breathing on his own, he's able to talk, he's able to communicate. They saved this kid's life. And I saw something that was incredibly powerful. It was a picture of like from up above, from up in the nosebleeds, if you will, where she shows the ambulance on the field, the crowd around this guy. You can't actually see them working him. But what really got me was somebody had commented that the most important people on that field at that moment were the lowest paid people. And that when you think about it, it's probably true. Very much is. A lot of these EMS workers, especially if they work for private companies, they make fucking peanuts. They make absolute peanuts. And you hear, oh, go into the medical profession, you'll make millions, you'll make it. It's not like that. Unless you're a doctor working at a hospital. Even a lot of doctors in private practice aren't millionaires. I mean, they make good money, but they don't make like fucking TV, like what they purport on TV. So truly the most important people on that field at that moment were those low paid EMS workers. And that's something that, needs to change in this world. We pay these athletes millions upon millions of dollars. Some contracts are incredibly more lucrative than others. So if you look at fucking Bobby Bonilla, if you're familiar with the Mets saga of the Bobby Bonilla day, this guy's been making millions for years and he hasn't played in years, but he's still getting paid. Yet these EMS workers are probably making less than $20 an hour for that. They have to pay for their own training. Sometimes their company or agency will pay for them, but they're making fucking peanuts. That's something that needs to change. And support the heroes, support the first responders. It's always been my song. So definitely support them. Hi everybody. If you're watching, I see some people joining in. Feel free to comment, interact. We'll exchange ideas and thoughts and have a conversation. If any of my close circle are watching, they want to come on the Zoom, I can send you that Zoom link. But yeah, so that was kind of cool. It happened. The holidays happened. That was a thing. I hate the holidays. I really do. Peter, what's up, dude? Long time no see. Yeah, actually, let me explain that. So for the past couple weeks, I haven't had a show because I've had a lot going on. The holidays with my day job were stupid busy, but very worthwhile. I do love my day job. So super busy with that. Took a lot of my time. I was exhausted, had a lot of shit going on, but I'm back now. And in case you missed the announcement, Peter, we are moving to an actual studio that I'll be sharing with Mr. Kevin Holly. So we'll be able to have some fun with that. I'm hoping we get some in studio Kevin Holly interview action. Kevin's always a good time. Always a good friend. Dynamite human being. He's actually, I think it was tonight, he's performing stand-up comedy in a strip club. And I told him I want to get booked for this shit because it's like a back room. It's not in the main room where the strippers are, but it's apparently a back room where they got a stage, a small setup, and they produce stand-up comedy shows. And that's pretty fucking cool because I like comedy and I like titty bar. So I want to get booked on that show. I got to reach out to that booker. Also, this coming Friday night, if you live in the Kevin Frackin Holly, yeah, buddy, if you live in the Tampa Bay area and you want to have a good time this Friday night, let me pull up so I get the times right, because nothing worse than telling people the wrong fucking time. Stand by while I look this up. Come on, where are you? Here we go. This Friday at New World Brewery, which is right over near Bush and 275, right over in that general area. Time is, let me see what time it starts. Doors open at 7, show starts at 8. It is a burlesque show, Femme Fatale version 2, with performers Nicole Raven, who you may know from the FUBAR days. That was my beloved co-host. Ruby Vesper, who I don't know personally. I've met her before. Sweet girl, great dancer. K2 Lemieux. That's K2 Lemieux, who has been on the FUBAR show. Another awesome, awesome person. And Danger Spice. They're performing and the host is Mr. Sister. They're performing a burlesque show themed Femme Fatale, which pays homage to the bad girls of history. Nicole herself is doing whatchamacallit. She's doing a dance to I can't remember the name of the song. The name of the band is Petrol Bomb Samosa. Really, really badass song. She's doing the dance to that. I did a voiceover for it. So Femme Fatales, it's the bad girls of history. She's doing her dance to Lorena Bobbitt. So I'm pretty stoked about that. It's going to be cool. She's doing that dance. So looking forward to that show. So if you're in the Tampa Bay area, you want to check that out, I will be there. I'm going to have a bunch of people. We're going to have some fun. It's not officially a show thing. It's just a, just a show. I don't have a part in it. I wouldn't say I have a part in it. But I do contribute a little bit, but it's some awesome performers. Love and Spice with Jenna. Jenna, you haven't messaged me. I messaged you. You kind of ghosted. Message me. We'll talk. So that's what's going on this Friday. So definitely check that show out if you're in the Tampa Bay area. Tickets are $13 advance, $20 at the door. Worth it either way. Absolutely worth it either way. Oh, it's good. It's good once it hits your lips. So that's what's popping there. Definitely check it out. The song, I want to play the song. See, like I'm like tied up. I want to play the song, but I know I'm going to get gigged on Facebook. So you know what? Let me look the song up, and you can listen to it on your own time. How about that? Let me just back out of this bullshit. Petrol Bomb Samosa. I'm going to butcher the fuck out of the pronunciation. Zaina. I'm going to say Zaina. Zeina. Zaina by Petrol Bomb Samosa. It has one of the sexiest beats that I've ever heard. I mean, it is just a kick-ass. I think they're from India or from East Asia, possibly. Southeast Asia. But it's just got that. It's got that sound. I don't know. Facebook. Is it on Facebook? I don't know if it's on Facebook. Yeah, Petrol Bomb Samosa. So check that out. Check that song out. It's pretty sexy. What else? You know what? Hold on a second. These headphones are fucking annoying me. I can't hear anything. They keep popping out of my damn ear. Problem is my ears are too big for the headphones. So I got to try and fit these fucking elephant ears underneath. Hang on, shove this in. Oh yeah, there we go. My ears are kind of too big for the regular cans. Check. Okay, there we go. My ears are too big for the regular cans. They don't quite fit in the hole. And those other ones, as I'm talking, they like keep popping out. It's just annoying. I'm like, I gotta keep shoving it in. I gotta use my finger, keep shoving it in. Oh, so what else is popping? So the holidays were good. Hope everybody's holidays, whichever fucking holidays you celebrate. You like Christmas? Hey, happy baby Jesus Day. You celebrate Hanukkah, happy 8 Days of Magic. You celebrate Kwanzaa, happy Candle and Cup, or whatever the fuck I don't even know. Not that I'm trying to be insensitive. I don't celebrate holidays. The only way I celebrate them is because I have to, which I hate. So, let's see. We got the burlesque show, the studio. Yeah, that's the goings on, the holidays. Anything crazy happen over the holidays besides work? I mean, just work, which is fine. I like work. I'm trying to think if there's anything funny. We went to my mom's. We always fuck with my mom. My sister hid this like pea pod thing that had faces in it and then blamed it on me for hiding it. That was funny. Not really that exciting. So New Year's resolutions. I got some people watching. If you got some New Year's resolutions, what's your New Year's resolution? My New Year's resolution is New Year, same old cunt. That's what I'm doing. You know my affinity for that word. Yeah. New Year, same old cunt. We gotta do away with this New Year's resolution shit. Why don't you just try to improve yourself every day? That's what I try to do. Yeah. So we need to do that. We need more of that. Try getting better every day. What else? So moving studio. I'm like, my brain's trying to process. Since you did your last show, the FBI, DOD, and others cleared me in a series of investigations dating back to 2013 current. Congratulations. Whoa, what the fuck just happened? What did I just do? Oh, wait. Show chat. Okay, I accidentally hit the chat. So what you're trying to say, Peter, is that they cleared you on those mopery charges when you were exposing yourself to a blind person? Congratulations. Why is my picture so small? Oh, this is funny. Kevin Holly just oh shit, that is funny. So Kevin Holly just sent me the poster for this show he's doing. And he's like, why is my picture so small? And he's got the host, CP Post, who's a sweet lady, really funny. She's got a nice big picture. Tommy Bell, who is just another awesome comic. He's just a great guy. Looks like Elvis Costello. This dude, Drew Ferrano, who I don't know. Their pictures are all the same size. And then you got Kevin Holly, really small. You know what, Kevin, you should be thankful there's not a chip in that picture. That's what I'm gonna tell him. Be thankful there's I type like shit. There you go. That's funny. Like I want to do a comedy strip club comedy show because that just sounds awesome. It was actually I think it was 2018. Maybe it was, holy shit, was that 4 years ago? Fuck me. Oh wow. I hope, is it? I don't know. I suck I suck at using Facebook on a computer now. Let me see. Let me check my Facebook memories. Hang on. I know I shouldn't. Facebook memories. It was 4 years ago. Holy shit! So it was 2019. So 4 years ago, I did a show where I danced on a stripper pole, and it was terrible. So I did it. We produced a show at the Bellagio Theater up in Tampa. The featured act or the headlining act was Christy Monroe, the stripper comedian, who's a dear friend. She's an absolute sweetheart. But she does a performance. She strips. She does comedy and strips. So it was. Ooh. We're going to talk about that in a minute, Peter. So hold on to your nuts. We're going to talk. They put concrete around the pole. No, she's got one of those stripper poles that like sits on a base, and it's got like a wide base. Base is probably at least 8 feet wide. And it's weighted, so it would hold the weight of a normally sized people. But when I spun around it, man, that thing fucking leaned. I didn't like try climbing it or anything. I don't have the ability for that. Oh, thank you, Kevin. Kevin Holly is listening to the show right now. Kevin, I love you, man. He said it sounds loud and clear. Good. I hope I don't sound like a bag of dicks. So if you don't know who Kevin Holly is, fucking on the IRN broadcast.net, look for the Kevin Holly show Look for him on Facebook, YouTube, all that shit. Fine. Kevin is a genuinely awesome dude. He's funny. He's nice. I mean, he's probably one of the nicest guys you could ever fucking meet. And he's got a chip on his dick, not a chip on his shoulder, a chip on his dick. But it's not actually on his dick. It's missing from his dick. It was a weird lawnmower accident. Ladies and gentlemen, don't stick your dick in a blender. That's all I have to say about that. I'm not gonna keep talking about your dick. I love you, and your chip dick. But anyway, so so the stripper pole. So Christy Monroe, awesome comedian. And she does a whole routine. She does a whole thing, dancing, swinging on the pole. And yeah. Yeah, so that was a good time. Yes, I got on the stripper pole. She had me like doing moves, and it's funny, like I used to be an athlete, and I say I used to be once an athlete, always an athlete. No, I'm fat. I'm fat. I'm not flexible anymore. I'm crusty. I'm stiff. Love you, Kev. So like it was awkward. I'm gonna try and find the video, and I'll try and post it somewhere so you guys can see it. It's on Christy's YouTube page, or was. I haven't watched it in a long time. I'm not that narcissistic, but so you know, she does this routine, and you know, she brought people up and did stuff. So yeah, I swung on the pole. She had me twerking, which is fucking disturbing to watch yourself twerk when you're not a dancer at fucking all. It's very uncomfortable. Pat told me to start stalking Kevin. No, don't stalk Kevin, man. Don't do that. Peter, we love you. Just leave us alone, man. Pat told me to start. You know what? If you're going to stalk Kevin, send him something fun and funny and lighthearted. If you're going to do the stalking in a lighthearted, fun, not serious, and not fucking with people's jobs, Peter. You know what I'm talking about. Don't do that. It's just not cool. We love you. We want to hang out with you. We like interacting with you, but just chill, man. Chill. It's about fun, not fucking us up. So don't fuck us up. So now I got to ask some questions about this investigation. After I take a drink of my delicious beverage. So what did the man accuse you of doing? That's what I want to know. I mean, I saw those words, the DT words, the D and the T. You know what? Why is it, Peter? I could picture you doing something like, not something super bad, but something that's like, you look at it and like, what the fuck? Like, you would send like flaming bags of shit to someone's house just to fuck with. Don't do that. Don't send a flaming bag of shit to my house. But like that like, I could see you doing something that silly and relatively innocuous. And all I can think of is a scene for, what the fuck was it? Billy Madison. He called the shit poop. Well, he called the poop shit. No, he called the shit poop. That's what it was. A 400 to 500 pounds woman went to the FBI and said I was planning on taking down my entire hangar and all the staff in it. Did you correct them and say that you were referring to taking down the hangar you put your coat on? I mean, and by the way, there's a big difference between 400 pounds and 500 pounds. I mean, either way, it's a huge bitch, but still. What the fuck? Why does Reddit send me fucking updates at 8:30 at night? I need to change the time in which they send it, because like every night I get disturbed. That's fucked up, though. 400 to 500 pound women. You know, it's funny. I'm surprised. You know, I'd be the type of person that there'd be somebody like that everybody in the office would accuse me of sexual harassment, and that 500 pounder would accuse me of discrimination for not sexually harassing her. That's terrible. Why would you even say that? Why would you laugh at that? That's fucked up. I'm fucked up. We're all fucked up. I love being fucked up. Nobody knows why the woman did it. I could tell you why. I could sum it up in a 4-letter word, a beautiful 4-letter word that is, it's music coming out of my mouth. It's one of my favorite words next to fuck. It's cunt. She's a cunt. She did it because she's a fucking cunt. That's why. People got to be cunts. You know, it's funny. Like a friend of mine's Australian, Maddie. He's listened to the show. I've talked to him a lot. Great guy. But we talked about the Aussie use of the word cunt, and it can be like a term of endearment. Your friend comes, hey, what's up, fucker? It's, hey, what's up, you cunt? It's cunt is a versatile word if you allow it to be. And you should allow it to be because it's a fun word to say. It's even funnier when people get cringy offended at you using the word cunt, which makes me want to use it more. And it's only words. In the words of St. George Carlin, words are harmless. Words have no intentions. Words don't mean anything. It's the context you put it in is where the meaning comes from. So if I say, Peter, you're one of my favorite cunts, that's a compliment. But if I say that woman that ratted you out is a cunt, she's a fucking cunt. And you know what I mean. I did not have a prank schemed up. I was sent a photograph of me with a K-bar in 2020. I'm 5'11" and have a white auto. I was going to dip the K-bar in blood from roadkill and send it to the Moscow PD. That's Moscow, Idaho. Okay. That's fucked up. Yeah. That's Yeah, I don't think trying to send that to Moscow, Russia would be a very good idea. That's probably what they call something frowned upon. Yeah, so yeah, I don't recommend doing that. Yeah. So yeah, don't send shit to Moscow. Russia. Moscow, right? That's because then you get fucking Vladimir Putin coming after you, riding on his horse all shirtless, oiled up, singing Blueberry Hill, which if you've never seen that, by the way, you know what? I'm going to risk a content strike and I'm going to dig that video up and I'm going to play it because I think it's fucking hilarious. I don't have the technology, and this is something I got to learn from Mr. Kevin Holly on how to show my screen and shit. Actually, I may be able to. Hang on. I think I can actually. Give me a second. I don't know. Yeah. Make sense of that. I could definitely at least get the audio, which is fucking hilarious. And like he plays the piano on it and shit. It's fucking great. I fit the description, color of car, and knife of the person who did those murders. Ooh. Jesus. That's fucked up. Hang on. Where is it? Maybe this one. How long is that one? 3 minutes and 28 seconds. Let's see what this does.
You can make as many videos as you want.
Fuck that. We're not gonna play the audio of someone else's advertisement. Meanwhile, in Russia.
I found my thrill on Blueberry Hill.
Now, I'm not making this up. This is Vladimir Putin singing Blueberry Hill. I wish I'm not making this up.
On Blueberry Hill, when I found you, the moon stood still on Blueberry Hill and lingered.
Okay, this video's fucked up. I don't know where this is.
My dreams
Like,
came
I know it was in Russia that they did this. Hang on.
in the willow play.
I don't know where this is, and I don't know if somebody, because this video is not from RT. But it was just showing like Hollywood celebrities in the crowd, which could be a doctored up video. Don't always believe everything you see in an edited video. I fit the FBI profile. Only drawbacks is me still having my knife sheath. Yeah, that's fucking crazy. Anyway, so yeah, Putin singing this. It's crazy. It's mind blowing, and I like this song too.
Love sweet melody, but all those vows we made were never to be. Though we're apart,
This is
you're
disturbing.
part of me still.
It's disturbing. It's fucking disturbing. Legit.
For you were my thrill. Oh, Blueberry Hill. Come claim that you and me, baby. We'll see what we shall see. I'll
It's fucking disturbing.
bring my home with me. I'll give it you where makes a blue. Each afternoon you'll go. Higher than the moon will go. Send the rain in June will go.
Did I cut the live feed? What the fuck happened?
There wind in the willow play.
Oh shit.
Love's sweet melody.
Oh shit. Did they cut my fucking feed? Oh, that'd be some shit. Hang on, let me fucking see this shit. Cause I might get a case of the SADS. Okay, you see my feed. Oh, that's fucking weird. Huh. Well, if you still see it, Peter, I'm gonna stick with it. Because I have no idea where the hell it's going from. Huh. Hey, as long as you can still see it, I'm still gonna keep going it. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, I'm still live. All right, good. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck just happened. It went from the normal live look to a regular video look. I don't know if I hit something. It could be I have fucking giant meat fists. So fuck it. We'll just go with that. Yeah, so anyway, so that's fucking disturbing. You no longer you still have your knife sheath. Your sheath. It's good to have a sheath. Skip ahead to the live broadcast. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. Every now and again, YouTube does some crazy shit. But whatever. We're still here. We're still together. So what else is going on? What else is popping and locking in the world of you? There was some other shit I wanted to talk about. Yeah, I forget what the fuck it was. So Putin singing Blueberry Hill, moving into the new studio, burlesque show, which, by the way, if you don't know what burlesque is, just one word, titties. That's it. That's all you need to say. Titties. All right. It's worth it. It's totally worth it. Because I like to suck on a robot dick. That's why. Yeah. That's still crazy. You know, that I got to be honest with you, Peter. That's one thing I'm happy about is that I am so. I don't want to say I'm distinct looking, but I mean, there's very few people. I'm a very large dude. There's very few people that look like me. I mean, I'm a big dude. Normally, I have a shaved head, a big hulking son of a bitch. I am. So if somebody commits a crime that I fit the description for, there's a good chance I probably did it at that point. It was either me or Vincent D'Onofrio, who shaved his head again in a reboot of Full Metal Jacket. Those are the only two people could be, because him and I, believe it or not, people say we look the same. They also say I look like Shrek. And somebody once recently told me that I look like Gru. So fuck that broad too. That's almost offensive, though. You look like Gru. I don't know what you're talking about. I can't even do the voice. I try to do the Gru voice. I end up doing Dr. Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb, which, if you're not familiar with that show, it's a great show. Who else is watching? We got Peter. I now drop that. Now there's only one. Now it's just me and you, Peter. Just us, me and you. You and I, both of us together. My ex-girlfriend knows Vincent D'Onofrio, however it's spelled. You nailed it right. You got it right. That's cool. That's cool. I hear he's a very, very nice guy. I know some people who know him. And I hear he's actually a very, very humble, kind, just a nice guy. So that makes me happy. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. This is crazy. Oh, Lord. She's from Ozone Park. She probably knows some of the other fine individuals that frequented Ozone Park. I can say I've spent a little bit of time there. It's I mean, it's not the worst neighborhood I've ever seen, but it ain't the greatest. Ain't the greatest, ain't the worst. Used to be better. Actually, right in that same area. John Gotti, that is correct. His social club was right over there in Ozone Park. He lived in Howard Beach. What's funny is many moons ago, in a previous life of mine, I worked as a private investigator, doing insurance investigations, a lot of workers' comp stuff. She said Mr. Gotti was a nice man who bought ice cream for children. I have heard the same thing. By the time I was old enough and stomping around that area, he was incarcerated. But anyway, so I worked as a private investigator, and I would get sent everywhere. So I had to do, and I went to some very, very austere environments, New York City housing projects, some really, really shitty places, but I also got to go to some really cool places. So this one day I'm working an investigation. It's a workers' comp deal, nothing too crazy, but I needed to get eyes on this guy and, see what was going on. And at the time, this is back early 2000s, like 2002-ish. I was driving a black Ford Taurus, blacked out windows, blacked out Ford Taurus. So if you looked at this thing, you would say that's a fucking cop car. And I didn't tint it out. Actually, I got the car before I got the job, so I didn't get the car to look like a cop. But I mean, it just so happened it was a sedan. It was fast as fuck. But anyway, so I'm sitting on this three-way intersection. So I'm sitting the cross streets in front of me. I'm sitting on the side road, parked off to the side legally and the correct distance from the curb. But I have a good eyes on the guy's house. I can't remember whether it was left or right. But I'm sitting there, and all these guys are coming out in their bathrobes with their white shirts and their slippers and black socks to get the newspaper. And they're looking at me, and they're posing. And they go back in the house, and another one would come out. And I'm looking, and actually, I think it was to the left. The house I was looking at was to the left. Because all of a sudden, I get a knock on my passenger side window. I look over, and there's a very attractive older lady. So I kind of roll down the window, just a little crack so I could talk to her. I said, can I help you, ma'am? She's like, I know you're watching somebody, and I know you can't tell me who you're watching, but if you're thirsty, if you need to use the bathroom, I'm home. You can just knock on the door. I'll take care of you. And it was at that moment that I realized I am either incredibly safe or in a shitload of danger, and I want to stay here and see what happens. Spoiler alert, nothing happened. I didn't even get eyes on the guy. I'm pretty sure he made me. So not a big deal. It wasn't the end of the world as far as that investigation goes. It is what it is. That job actually paid pretty well, which is kind of crazy. The Raven, was that the name of his social club? Why do I think it was something different? Hang on. John Gotti Social Club Ozone Park. Oh, the Bergen Hunt and Fish Club. That's what it was. Yeah, it was the Bergen Hunt and Fish Club. I knew it wasn't the Ravenite. You think you're watching them and they're watching you. Hey, that's fine. You know what? The way I look at it is, in that neighborhood, as long as I stayed in my car, did what I had to do, didn't bother with anybody, no one was going to fuck with me in that neighborhood. That's just the way it is. They don't, whether you're a cop, PI, whatever, if you're in your car doing your observation, as long as you're not talking to anybody or fucking with anybody, stay in your car, keep to yourself. You're safe as can be. Safe as can be. I've gone to some neighborhoods which were a little less welcoming. What the hell was it? Red Fern houses, Far Rockaway, off Beach Channel Drive. So it would be actually the east end of Beach Channel Drive, almost to the Nassau County border. There's a housing project called the Red Fern houses, and a buddy of mine worked in the 101s, the precinct that is the Rockaway, is the 101st precinct, and his name was Victor. And I called up Victor. I said, Victor, I got to do an interview in this building, the Red Fern houses. What can you tell me about it? He's like, you don't want to go in there. I'm like, I've been to Bushwick. I'm like, what do you mean? I got to go in there. He's like, you don't want to go in there. He's like, we don't go in there. I'm like, I fucking have to go in there. I make less than you do. Talk to me. He's like, well, we're on a traffic stop right now. As soon as we're done, me and my partner are going to come and let you in the building. Okay, no problem. He's like, are you armed? Now, him being a very good friend of mine and also being a police officer, I had to say no, because to say yes would be committing a felony. So I'm not going to say yes or no. I'm not going to say yes, but I may, statute of limitations. I was armed, and he asked, do you have a vest? I said, yeah. He's like, are you wearing it? I said, no. He said, you're a fucking idiot. Put your vest on, go drive there, sit in your car in front of the building. When we're done with this traffic stop, we're going to escort you in. Okay, no problem. He's like, how long is the interview going to take? I said, 10, 15 minutes. He's like, all right, keep it to that as much as you can. So sure as shit, I went, parked in front. Him and his partner escorted me up to the guy's apartment that I had to interview. They sat outside while I interviewed this guy with the fucking door open. As soon as I was done, we walked out. We went downstairs, out the front door. My buddy Vic shakes my hand. I shake his partner's hand, and they both say, get the fuck out of here now. I'm like, you don't have to tell my fat ass twice. I got in the fucking car and I took off. But it was just shitty. And I remember working, it was a holiday weekend in the summer. So it was either July 4th or Memorial Day. Can't remember which. And I think it was the Polo Grounds houses up, that'd be the upper east side. Well, actually, probably, I think it's closer to Harlem. Polo Grounds houses. It's where the actual Polo Grounds stadium was. I had to do something, and I had to try and track this guy. I couldn't fucking nail this guy. Couldn't find him. No one knew him. Again, they look at me, big shaved head, white guy. You're a cop. Whether you're a cop or not, you're a cop. So the fucking guy I was working for was a douchebag out of fucking Boston. He's like, hey, why don't you just put on a wig or something and go sit in the hallway? I'm like, I stand out like a sore fucking, I'm 6'4", 300 pounds. Like, I'm not inconspicuous. I cannot be nonchalant. So I'm like, you're a fucking asshole. I ended up actually getting that guy, which was pretty good. Got him playing basketball. Claimed he couldn't walk. Good times. And it wasn't wheelchair basketball, before you fucking say that. Because I had to specify in my court documents that he was playing basketball without the use of a wheelchair. Because somebody asked that, like, oh, he's playing basketball. Was it wheelchair basketball? No, this motherfucker was running around. It happens. I mean, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. The same goes for insurance fraud, I guess. Good times. Good fucking times. So, Bushwick. Yeah, I've been to Bushwick. Bushwick's not bad. East New York, Brooklyn, that's not bad. I know a buddy of mine was on the job there. I mean, here's the thing, though. If you know how to handle yourself, you can go into the shittiest neighborhood in New York and be perfectly safe, at least during the day. I'm sorry. Correction. You used to be able to until they fucked it up, because it is pretty fucked up now. Yeah. It's crazy how much they fucked it up, actually. But yeah, I mean, there was a time like, I mean, back then, I only implicate myself for quad murders, no insurance fraud. You know why? I mean, insurance fraud is kind of like a gentleman's crime, like arson. But yeah, I mean, only implicate yourself in quad murders. That's fair. I like that. I appreciate that. That's fucking funny. Ugh. It's insane, man. Never implicate yourself. Never implicate yourself at all, whether it's insurance fraud, quadruple murders, whatever. I mean, don't commit quadruple murders. It's probably frowned upon. Sorry about that. Yeah, don't commit murder. Don't commit only commit gentleman crimes. All right. Arson, insurance fraud, those are okay. Don't commit murder. Don't do anything. Do not do anything to children because I will fuck you up. But yeah, do gentleman crimes like a gentleman. Unless you're not a gentleman, then just be a piece of shit and suffer the fucking consequences. I'm trying to think of what my favorite neighborhood in the city is. My family, my father grew up in Greenpoint, which is it's all the Polacks, and I didn't do the murders. I merely made it appear I did. Oh, see, you're like a magician now. Look what I did. I made these people disappear. Oh, no, I didn't. That's fucked up. That whole thing was fucked up. What's funny, in the neighborhood my mom lives in, there was recently a murder suicide. My sister like texts me, and here's the crazy part of it. And this is actually pretty crazy. So in this same house where it's in the same planned development where my mom lives. A couple of years back, this woman who my mom was friends with was dating this dude, and this dude fucking went in the backyard one day and blew his fucking brains out. No one had any suspicion, or thought that he would do this, but he went out in the backyard, fucking offed himself. So she finds him, whatever. A few months later, out of the blue, no rhyme, no reason, no indication, this woman dies suddenly. She passes away, natural causes. She passes away suddenly. Very sad. She was a very sweet lady. House gets sold. New couple moves in. Fucking murder suicide in the same fucking house. The husband, I guess the wife had some kind of surgery and was having a tough recovery. He had health problems. He was depressed. So he fucking offed his wife and offed himself. And, I'm sorry. I said the S word. Sorry, YouTube. Please forgive me for saying the S word, which we're not allowed to say. He unalived himself and unalived his wife, which is sad and unfortunate. It is very sad when it comes to that. But, there are some people that, I'm a big proponent. Let's get a little dark here, people. I am a big proponent of people's right to choose what they do with their bodies, whether it is a woman's right to abortion or whether it is a person's right to end things clinically and on their terms. There's a group out there called Exit International that are proponents of there's actually a word for it. It's not assisted. It's I think it's like voluntary euthanasia or something like that, or compassionate euthanasia. I'm a big fan of that. Doug Stanhope, his mom had a lot of problems, and he actually helped his mom unalive. Again, she had a lot of health problems. That was the way it is. Over in Tampon Springs, a couple upper 80s, lower 90s, people from World War II. The husband offered his wife and then himself around 2018. I know the relatives looked over the World War II hardware for them. Medically assisted euthanasia. Yeah, there's another name for it. It's medically, but I think it's like compassionate euthanasia or something like that. That's sad. I actually funny story. This is actually the second time this week. This is kind of fun. This is the second time this week I'm telling this story. So many moons ago, when I first moved down to Florida about 10 years ago, I worked in a condominium building. No sense in specifying which one, but it was a condominium building in downtown Tampa. Beautiful building, high rise. Anyway, there's this guy. We'll just call him Ed because that was his first name. Last name irrelevant. Older guy, World War II vet. Funny as fuck. He would always walk in and out. When I first started working this building, I was working the front desk security, trying to earn a living. and he would come in and out, and he'd always have a dirty joke or a funny story. He was just a very friendly guy. I really admired him. Yeah, bring out the murder stories and people. Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I'll tell you a better one about the same building in a minute, but let's talk about Ed first. So Ed was a World War II vet, funny guy, very personable, just a great human being. He had a family that lived far away, but he loved his family. He was an absolute phenomenal human being. Reminded me of my grandfather, actually, just the way he looked. But he was great. Ed was great. He unfortunately had a disease. I forget what disease he had, but basically the muscles in his body were just wasting away. He would go to the gym and try to work out every day, but his muscles were just, they were just disappearing. The man was like a stack of bones. He walked with a cane. It was really sad. And you could tell he was in pain, but he tried to push his way and smile through it. So anyway, in May of this one particular year, he came down. I was still working the front desk, and he said, he called me up and he said, "Hey, Raj, I just bought a handgun. I don't know how to load it. You know, my muscles are weak. I want you to load it. I'd like to keep it on hand for protection. You know, can you teach me how to load it and show me how to use it?" Okay, no problem. Side note, it was a fucking High Point C9. If anybody knows guns, it was a piece of shit, but it wasn't a yeet cannon, which holds a special place in my heart. But anyway, so he brings me this High Point, and he wants me to show him how to load it. So I load a magazine, pop it in, rack one into the chamber. It doesn't have a safety, so once you put one in the pipe, it's fucking hot. It's similar firing system, similar, not same, to a Glock with the trigger safety. But anyway, so he asked me to load it. I put one in, I put it back in the box, put all the paperwork on top of it, close it up, hand it to him, and tell him, you saying you use this for protection. I hope you never, ever have to use this weapon. Made out of Hot Wheels cars material. Exactly. Actually, I think to make those things out of Hot Wheels would be an improvement. I do want to get a yeet cannon, which is the same gun, the C9. It just says yeet cannon. It does. I can't remember. This is going back fucking 11 years. And to be honest with you, I don't handle too many fucking High Points, but I want a yeet cannon. So one of these days I'm going to buy one. Anyway, so if it had a safety, I would have put the safety on, put it back in the box, put the paperwork in it, handed him the box, bundled up in the box. And I said to him, I hope you never have to use this to protect yourself. And never didn't think about it again. I'd still see the guy every day. He'd come and go. We'd make jokes. We'd laugh. The guy told some phenomenal dirty jokes. Great as far as that goes. I have a love for that. But December 7th, at that time, I had changed to all right. Anyway, so the sorry, I was distracted. The Ed gave him the gun, put it away. December 7th, I changed from security into the maintenance department, and my boss walks in early in the morning. I'm sitting at my desk eating my breakfast, and he walks in, drops some papers on his desk, and said, well, Ed blew his brains out last night. I'm like, what the fuck? So it turns out that he actually had me load that weapon. He had the intent. He bought it and had me load it with the intent of unaliving himself. So he called up the security guard on the overnight shift at about 2:00 in the morning, said, "You may hear a gunshot. Don't worry. It's only me. The front door is open. Call the police." Hung up the phone, and no one complained about a shot being fired, but he fucking unalived. And it was sad. Now, there's some fucked up things that go along with this. Hang on. He was a writer, and he wrote, not only did he write fiction, he wrote a novel. He had a published novel. I may have bought a C9 and 45 for a joke. They run all day. That's true. Pearl Harbor Day. Yeah, that is correct. It was Pearl Harbor Day. That's how I remember that it was December 7th. But Ed was a writer. Now, first of all, he offed himself on his bed. And so the building manager wanted us to remove the mattress that he offed himself on, which had a blood stain on it. I said, I ain't fucking doing that. He actually got these Hispanic guys that were doing work on the property to fucking get rid of the mattress, which is fucking bullshit because that's biohazard. But stand by 1 second. So you got these Hispanic guys to get rid of it. And yeah. Holy shit. Sorry. That's yeah, so you got these two guys to get rid of the mattress. Didn't think anything of it. Me and my boss went up there, shut the air, turn the air conditioner on, shut the water off. About a month or so later, his family comes back to take the rest of his effects out. And, we help them. They pull away. And after they pulled away, we look in the loading dock and there's a copy of his book sitting under where the truck was. So it's not like it just fell there. Like it was in the middle of where the truck was, which is kind of crazy. So my boss picked it up and took it with him and figured out, a little souvenir. So then we go back up to the apartment to turn the water off and set the air conditioner again. And we walk into his bedroom and sure as shit, the fucking bullet is sitting right on top of the carpet, right against the fucking bed frame. So we found the bullet that Ed unalived himself with. My boss to this day, well, my old boss, I don't work for him anymore. My old boss to this day still has the bullet, still has the book, which is really fucked up. Good times. Peter, you're right. You do bring out the fucking shit stories. The next one I have for you is really fucked up and pretty fucking cool. So like I said, I moved to the maintenance department, and my boss and I would alternate. The body was stuck under the tire. Wait, hang on. I dragged the dead body out from under a school bus in St. Petersburg for the FHP. The body was stuck under the tires, so I drove forward 5 feet to get it off him and pulled it out. That sucks. I hate when that happens. That's crazy. Dead people are cool because they're not warm anymore. But hang on. So the next story involves the same building. My boss and I would alternate being on call. So it was just me and him. We were the entire maintenance department. It was just two of us. So we would alternate weekends. One of us would be on call. Then the next weekend, the other would be on call. And if we had something going on, we would trade off. And we had a system. It worked. So it was my boss's turn to work. He had something going on. He asked if I would cover for him. Sure. What the fuck? I'm a nice guy. He tried to cut inside the bus turning on his motorcycle. Well, he fucked around and found out. Tell you that. So anyhow, I get a call at like 2:00 in the morning on a Saturday morning from a resident saying that he's got water leaking into his apartment, like condos. So into his unit. And it's leaking in the bathroom. So it's got to be coming from the bathroom upstairs. I said to him, do you want me to come now or can it wait till like 8:00 tomorrow? I could be there at 8 a.m. so we get a little sleep. I was tired. And it happened to be a board member. He was really cool. And he's like, yeah, just come tomorrow morning. It's not a whole lot of water, but it needs to be looked at. I said, not a problem, bro. I'll come in the morning. So 8 a.m. I'm there. I got my little fucking drywall saw. I cut a hole where the water's coming down. I could see the way that most high rises are built in stacks. So if where your bathroom is, the unit above you has a bathroom, unit below, all the units are the same top to bottom in a straight line. It keeps things simple for plumbing, drainage, air conditioning. Anyway, there's your fucking building lesson. So the unit above, I could see water coming out from around the drain pipe, which means, there's water coming down from the shower. Now these units had a bathtub and a shower, like separate, a bathtub and shower. So it was like they had like one of those garden tubs, soak tub, whatever you want to call it. So stall shower, soak tub. So the person up above, we're going to call Naz, N-A-Z. We'll call him Naz because that was his name. I call the front desk. I say, hey, Naz's apartment's leaking water down below. Can you give him a call and tell him I got to come up there and see what the cause is? So security calls me back and says, yeah, he's there. He said, come on up. So I go up. I'm knocking on the door. No answer. Knock on the door. No answer. I'm like knocking on the door for 5 fucking minutes. No answer. And security just told this guy I was coming up to take care of a leak. So finally, I'm getting ready to call security back, and just as I dial the phone, the fucking door swings open. This little blonde chick freaking the fuck out, saying, "There's something wrong with that. Something's wrong. I think he's having a seizure." Okay, take me to Naz. So and this guy, I was kind of friendly with him. We bullshit. He was of Lebanese descent. I'm of Lebanese descent. We would talk about Lebanese shit, bum cigarettes. All the chicks he dated were always fucking smoke shows, stripper hot kind of thing. So she leads me down to the bedroom. Now, if you close your eyes, if you will, you walk into a bedroom, and along the wall to your left is an entertainment center with a television. The wall to the left, going to the side, has a sliding glass door with a balcony. The next wall that's in front of you has a king-size bed right in the middle of it. And then the wall along to the right is where the bathroom is and closet. So I walk in, and Naz is on the bed face down. And when I say face down, I mean his head was straight, like face down, with his arms at his sides, palms up, which if you've ever seen a body fall or climb into bed, you're not going to lay like that. That's how you get placed. So anyway, so he's face down. I reach his neck. He's naked, by the way, fully naked. I reach around the front. He's ice cold. Can't feel a pulse. I fucking flip him over, check a pulse, no pulse. You can't do CPR on a bed. So I pull his naked ass off the bed. And I notice at this point that in the bathroom, both sinks are running. The shower's running. The bathtub is running. So that's fucked up. So I tell this broad who's freaking out, I tell, go shut the water off in the bathroom. I get 911 on the phone, get rescue going. I'm doing CPR. And if I've done CPR a couple of times. If you're not CPR trained, get CPR trained, because it does work. I have I am, what am I, 3 for 5 on saves? I've done it 5 times, and I think I've saved 3. Or is it? No, I'm sorry. I'm 3 for 4. I've done it 4 times. I'm 3 for 4, so pretty good. He was number 4. He didn't make it. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So anyway, so I grab a towel and I throw it over his dong, because I'm doing chest compressions and his dong's flopping around. I don't want the guy to fucking pee on me. So I'm doing compressions. I'm on the phone with rescue. This chick's freaking out. I tell her, and as I'm working this guy, I kind of start looking around, and I notice that things are weird. Like on the bed, there's a computer playing porn. There's dildos and lube and shit all over the place. There's drugs everywhere. Like they were having a fucking party, and I got the invite the worst fucking way. So I'm doing compressions. Rescue shows up after what felt like a fucking hour. When you're doing compression, chest compression, CPR, it feels like it takes fucking forever because time just moves slow. So rescue comes, they take over. I tell the cop, I'm like, if you want me to do an interview, if you got, you need a statement, whatever, give me a few minutes. Let me go up to the roof. Let me have a smoke. Let me relax, collect my thoughts. And, I'll give you whatever information you need. I just kind of need to decompress for a moment and let my adrenaline come down. Oh yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. So I go up to the roof. I'm up there for a while. I call my brother, smoking a cigarette, just trying to decompress. Finally get my shit together. I go back downstairs and I, meet the cop in the hallway. At this point, more cops have shown up. They took him out, and he's like, how well do you know this guy? I know him fairly well. He's, newlywed. He's had a bunch of girlfriends, all of them like stripper hot. He's like, was he gay at all? I'm like, not that I know of. I mean, his ex-wife used to come by all the time, and she was definitely a prime time slot stripper. Giant cans, round. I mean, she was a smoke show, but you just looking at her, you got herpes just looking at her. I don't know if she has herpes or not. I don't think, whatever. Anyway, so so working Naz elevator, or they take him out. I come back down, and the cops asked me if he was gay. I said, no, I don't think so. So he's like, yeah, this is the girl's name that's in there. Keith. I'm like, say what now? Yeah. She's a he, and his name is Keith. So like at this point, like she's still there. I look at her. I'm like, okay, yeah, I could see it. That's, she's either a transvestite or transgender. But yeah, that's Keith. Hi, Keith. Nice to meet you. Anyway, they start processing because now it's a crime scene because of the amount of drugs and money. And I knew that he was a low-level, undocumented neighborhood pharmacist, I believe is the technical and politically correct term. So he did his, they do their thing. Crime scene's there. They're processing it. They confiscate all the drugs. They confiscate the cash. They confiscate the guns. They take all that shit out of there. And I'm like, all right, cool. That's the end of it. And then later on, his cousins show up and they go to his storage units that the police didn't know about. And they got the rest of the drugs out of there, which apparently that's where the most of it was. So then they leave. Well, he didn't make it. His mother was apparently a very prominent person she wasn't a household name, but she had some tight political connections and she was in a position of somewhat power. His cause of death was listed as a heart attack, not a drug-induced transgender sex bender. Nah, it was a heart attack. Now, here's the craziest part. First of all, hang on. So he had, like I said, he had recently got married, and he was, he like I said, he was of Middle Eastern descent. He was Muslim. His mom was Muslim. His family was Muslim. His wife was Muslim. His wife was a doctor who was finishing up her residency somewhere else out of state. So while they were married, they were technically living apart. He was apparently living his best life all the way to the end. And his wife was a cunt of the highest order. She comes down probably about 2 weeks after after he dies. She comes down to the building to collect all of his effects from the from his unit. And she was just such a bitch, being demanding and this. And then I guess Keith or Queef, Keith with a K, Kilo Echo India Tango Hotel. Queef, I believe she lacked the equipment to queef. So there we go. So anyway, his wife was just being a complete fucking cunt. So I fought the urge to describe to her the sound her husband's fucking sternum made when I shattered it with the first set of compressions. I chose to take the high road on that. I did not go down that road. Then she was still being a bitch. So I was tempted to spill the beans about the tranny, but chances are she knew. I mean, I'm pretty fucking sure she knew. Oh, Lord. Good times, man. Peter, this is what you bring out in me, man. This is what you bring out in me. Would you find folks out there? Would you like another dead body story from old Uncle Raj? Because we're sharing dead body stories. Peter pulling dead bodies out from under buses. By the way, Peter, I do appreciate your British use of the letter Y. That's kind of interesting. I like that. So I'll tell you know what, if you guys first want to say yes, tell me another dead body story. I'm gonna tell another dead body story. Dead people are cool because they're not warm anymore. I keep saying this, and it's a fucking fact. Why do they put fucking fences around cemeteries? Because people are just dying to get in. That's a fact. I heard that. Actually, if you're superstitious, the reason why they put fences around cemeteries is because ghosts, if you believe that bullshit, cannot cross a wall unless they're invited. So a fence being a wall. Dead bodies all day. Peter, boom. I love you, man. All right, so this is dead body story number 3, and I think this will be the last dead body story. So many moons ago, again, prior life, I worked at a hotel in New York. If you know me, you know the name of the hotel. It rhymes with Danford's Hotel and Marina. Okay, that's the name of it, Danford's Hotel and Marina. Anyway, so there was this gentleman who was staying with us, and we had a lot of people staying with us that were attached to national laboratories because of the hotel's close proximity to Brookhaven National Lab. So we would have people, real fucking big brain people. We had people staying close to Stony Brook University, that big mathematics department. We had a lot of big brains staying there. So this one particular big brain was staying there, affiliated with Brookhaven National Lab. Pardon me while I drink. Vocal cords getting a little rough. So anyway, so this guy's staying there. I get a call from the front desk. I was the director of safety and security back in the day. And I get a call from this woman saying, I'm trying to reach my husband. I can't get him. Can you check the bar? And if he's not at the bar, can you check his room? He usually calls me. He hasn't called. It's like 11 o'clock at night. She said she calls him every night, or he calls her every night at 9 p.m. So I go, I check the bar. There's nobody there by that name. So I'm like, all right, I look and see what room he's in. Okay, I go walk and, check his room out. Knock on the door, no answer. Knock on the door, no answer. I swipe my master key card in the lock, and the lock flashes a red light at me. When that happens, ladies and gentlemen, that's when you have a master key card. You swipe it, and that red light flashes to let you know that the deadbolt is locked. My card will unlock the deadbolt because it is a master, but it tells you somebody's in there because the deadbolt's locked. So I'm like, all right. So I'm like knocking on the door a little bit more, still no answer. Maybe he's in the shower. Waited a bit, nothing. Knock on the door again, swipe my card, red light flash, open the door. Thank God he didn't put the chain on it. I see somebody sitting in a chair, calling out, security, hello. No response, no nothing. He wasn't sleeping in the chair. He was forever sleeping in the chair. Also, let me add that the wife had last heard from him the night before. So I open up the door, and he's sitting in the chair, fully clothed, hands in his lap, dead as a fucking doornail. For those of you who are in the medical fields and know the signs of death, he was showing signs of livor mortis or dependent lividity, depending on how you want to phrase it. That's when your heart stops beating, so the blood needs to go somewhere. Gravity takes it, and the lowest extremities turn purple, like his hands, because they were on his lap. So all the blood in his arms pulled down to his hands. His hands were purple as purple can be. Ice cold, no pulse. He's clearly deceased. So I call 911 like any good egg does, and 911 dispatch operator, God bless their souls. They do some thankless work. They have to deal with some horrible shit. Rigor mortis did set in, but that's we'll get to that. 911 emergency service dispatchers have to deal with some really shitty shit. But sometimes, and I love them, I'm friends with a few, sometimes they're fucking dumb. But I get why they're dumb sometimes. So I tell her, I said, this is Rod from, calling from this room. I have a guest who has passed away. Well, how do you know? You need to perform CPR. I'm like, CPR is not going to work. Well, we need to, you need to try and save this person's life, and you need to start CPR. I'm like, nope. Not that I don't want to do it. I mean, if I knew it had a chance of working, I would do it. But no. There's it. No. Livor mortis. He's done. So they say, all right, we're going to send rescue. And the way it works on Long Island is all law enforcement, the Suffolk County Police Department, they're all certified EMTs. They are certified EMTs, so they know how to do all that shit. They can administer oxygen, defibrillator, blah, 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 blah. He's cold and stiff. He's dead. Yep, pretty much. So police department shows up, and it was a female cop that I knew. She walks up. She pretty much pokes her head in. Yep, he's dead. And then she goes about doing what she does. Ambulance shows up because they have to dispatch an ambulance. They start pulling the stretcher out. I call down to him because this building that it was in was exterior entrances, think motel styles, but with interior stairwells. So from the first floor balcony or first floor deck, you go through a door, stairs inside, out to the outside second floor deck. And then there's also a third floor access, same way. So I'm up on the second floor balcony, walkway, whatever you want to call it. And they see them pulling the stretcher out, and I say, you don't need that. Just put it back in. You're not going to need it because you're not taking them. And they say, oh, well, what do we need? The stair chair? No, you're not going to need the stair chair either. So like, they walk upstairs. I say, come up before you carry anything. So they come upstairs. Same thing as a cop. They poke their head in. Yep, he's dead. Sayonara. And they pack their shit and left because ain't nothing EMS is going to do for them. Emmy shows up. They do the process. She does her thing. They're doing their thing. The EMS lackey shows up with an enclosed reeve stretcher. For those who don't know what a reeve stretcher is pretty much a body bag or an enclosed reef stretcher. It's a body bag that has some stiff ribs running down the bottom of it. So you can basically put a body in a body bag and carry them. And it doubles as a stretcher / body bag. So one fucking guy, second floor, no elevator, shows up with an enclosed reef stretcher. Him and the Emmy pull the guy off the fucking chair. And this is where rigor mortis comes in. Rigor mortis, for those not trained in said fun festivities, is when your joints stiffen up, why they call corpses stiffs. The lubrication and flexibility in your joints and muscles gets locked up and you literally become stiff. This guy was stiff as shit. They pulled him off the chair. He's on the floor on his back, still sitting with his hands in his lap and his legs in a seated position. You can manipulate the joints to move, but for the most part, they're stiff. And when they pulled him off the chair, that's when he shit because there's no muscle tone. So he was in a seated position when he passed. So his butthole was plugged up. And then once they moved him, he pooped. There's another fun thing about dead bodies for you. You're welcome. So anyway, this one dude gets him into the enclosed reef stretcher and proceeds to slide him out the door, across the balcony, through the door, down the stairs, head, thump, 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 down the stairs, around, thump, 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 out the door, thump, because there was a step, down to the end of where there's like 3 or 4 stairs, thump, 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 onto the sidewalk, and one guy thump, chucks him into the fucking Emmys van, and off they go into the sunset. Actually, it really wasn't sunset. It was like at this point, midnight. I was supposed to get off work at fucking 11. I was less than amused at that. But anyway, so they take him away and the cop does their processing. They pack up all his personal effects, any valuables that they found. They secure in an envelope. We lock in our safe deposit box. We take possession of his suitcase and everything. And, you know, everybody goes about their work days. By the way, that was the last time my wife made tuna fish for me for dinner because that's what I was in the mood for. That's what she made. And because I asked her to make tuna for me, I had to deal with a dead body. Anyway, so the Emmy goes, they go off, they do their thing. A couple days later, I have actually, I think it was like the next day or 2 days later, I have a homicide detective come and pay me a visit. Now, it wasn't a homicide. It wasn't considered a homicide, but the fact that the gentleman was a government employee scientist from another state, he was in another state. Homicide gets involved to just make sure and clear for everybody's knowledge and well-being that there was not any foul play. And, you know, we talked about it. And then he asked me, he's like, so where's the weed? What weed? Now, I knew at the night of, and I didn't say anything about it yet because it would spoil the ending. I knew that they found some marijuana, some of the devil's lettuce, Satan's garden salad, jazz cigarettes. They found some of the green, the herb, the ganja, marijuana. They found some of that in this gentleman's room. And the cop, trying to do the right thing to, at this point, you know, this is, like I said, this is probably 2006, 2007-ish. Marijuana was not legal at the time within the Democratic People's Republic of New York. So to avoid some embarrassment on behalf of this gentleman's family, the police officer decided to just make the drugs disappear. Now I have a homicide detective in my office asking me about where's the weed. So I do the only thing an honest, caring, law-abiding citizen would do, and I denied all knowledge of the weed. I knew nothing about it. I told I don't know what the fuck you're talking. Weed? What weed? What weed? A friend with weed's a friend indeed, but ain't nobody here got any. So we left it at that. I like cans of tuna mixed with horseradish. My jam is mayo and sweet pickle relish. Mayo and relish. That's my jam. Anyway. So, I call up the cop. I'm like, who I said was a friend of mine. I said, I don't give a fuck what you did with it. I don't give a fuck where it went. I don't care if you fucking smoked it. All I know is I got a homicide detective in my office asking me about where the fucking shit is that you got rid of. I don't care what you do, how you do it, but you better produce some shit because I don't need this fucking kind of heat because I had nothing to do with it. I'm like, what the fuck did you do with it anyway? She's like, I threw it in the dumpster by the firehouse. Like, you're a fucking idiot. That shit, somebody could have fucking smoked that. I know. I love tuna salad. I said, what the fuck? Do something, fix this, make this go away because I don't want to deal with it. So she did whatever she had to do, pull some out of evidence, confiscate some off a bum, whatever. It got taken care of. So there you go. That's the final dead body story of the evening. Good times. Good times. All right, I'll tell you one fucking more, and that's it. And again, this is the second fucking time this week that I'm telling this story. Now, this one is a little bit sad. This one actually involved my potential death, as well as the death of the person whom it truly affected. Give me a second. Let me. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Peter. Cans of tuna, tuna salad. You can't cook it. It's in a can. It's already cooked. It's got to be solid white, though. I can't do that chunk light shit. It's too mushy. So anyway, last dead body story, many moons ago. And the reason why I told this story this week involved construction, that my history and experience building things. And I can build things. I wouldn't say I'm a carpenter. I can't classify myself as an official carpenter. I can't sing. And Karen Carpenter had an eating disorder, but that's different kind of carpenter. I can build shit. I can build very basic, the basic shit. And when I build stuff, I tend to overbuild. And sometimes overbuilding was intentional. So this story involves me overbuilding a building made of wood. I prefer the chunk light to the albacore. Mixes better. Okay. I like the solid. I like the bigger chunks. And what I do is I got to mix it up and let the mayo soak in. All right. So enough about tuna, Peter. Come on. You're going to make me hungry. And tonight was white people taco night. So anyway. So I worked at many moons ago in a former life. I love the way how these start. I worked at a little place called Riverhead Raceway on Long Island, Riverhead, New York. It is the oldest paved NASCAR track in the country. Older than all of those old cup tracks. It is the oldest continually operating oval track in the United States, NASCAR sanctioned. So there you go for that. So anyway, very small track, 1/4 mile oval measured at the outside wall, which means this entire track could fit inside a high school running track. That's how small it was. And we put fucking 700 horsepower NASCAR modifieds on that thing. It was, and still is to this day, fucking crazy. Anywho, we needed to build an observation deck to go right alongside the wall in the pit area. The pit area in this racetrack is actually outside of the track. So as you come around, if you're going to start at the start-finish line, you start going, you go turn 1, turn 2, you come down the backstretch, and right at the end of the backstretch, right before the beginning of turn 3, up on your right-hand side, there is a metal gate, big, heavy steel gate. That's how you get out of the track, and the pit area is back off turns 3 and 4. And then the on-ramp to get back in is kind of halfway around turn 4. So you go out in turn 3, you come back in turn 4, you're almost, the straightaway is almost in front of you as you come up. So anywho, the section from the gate at the beginning of turn 3 all the way around to the gate at turn 4 at the time, there was no fence on the track wall. There was a fence on the outside of the pit lane, but there was nothing between the concrete wall, the track wall, and this driveway where cars would come out. But we needed an observation deck right at the top of what we called the ramp. So we built this building and we overbuilt this fucking thing. We used 6x6 corners, in the corners. We built this heavy fucking girder out of 2x4. I'm sorry, not 2x4, 2x10. We layered several 2x10s and then bolted them together to make this big fucking girder as a header just to take any weight in case a car hit it. We purposely designed this building dimensionally to be able to slide up onto a tow truck, a flatbed tow truck, in case we needed to move it. Oh, hang on. So we overbuilt this fucking thing. We decorated it in texture 111. Plywood with grooves in it. It had a plexiglass window, but we built this building to withstand a substantial impact because, In the racing world, it happens. At the time, the chief steward, the head NASCAR official or the head track official, was a gentleman named Walt Edsel. Walt Edsel, I think, was 83 at the time. He was an old fella, real old fella, nice guy, funny. He'd been around racing for the longest fucking time. For any of you racing fans watching, I think he was a chief steward at Islip Speedway, which closed down in the early 80s. I hope you sunk the 6x6 in 4. Nope. No, that was the whole thing with this building, Peter. The building was built to be able to be moved. So the whole thing was basically built on a platform that could be slid up onto a flatbed. So it was a freestanding building that was not anchored to anything. And again, intentionally not anchored to anything. This way, if a car did hit it, it would move. It would either absorb the impact or it would move. So that was the thought process. And this building was perfectly built, 100% perfectly built. So anyway, so this was June of 1999, I believe. I think it was June of 99. I'm standing on the ramp behind the building. So if I was staring at the track, there was the building, then the concrete wall, and then the track on the other side of the concrete. So I couldn't actually see the racetrack. Walt was standing down that exit, the lane coming off of the track where cars would come off the track. So he was standing at the concrete wall. There's no fence in front of him at that point. The fence was behind him between that lane and the pit bleachers. So he's standing on the wall. There's nothing between him and the car but a 4-foot concrete wall. And a driver who I know, I'm not even going to mention the driver's name. This driver had a tough time dealing with this. It was not intentional. It was a complete accident. His car had a throttle malfunction. He hit the wall. His tire assembly. The NASCAR modifieds have very wide tires, very wide front tires. His front right tire, your right side tires are wider than your left side tires because you go in on an oval. I don't want to get into the physics of it, but your front right tire is very fucking wide. He has a stuck throttle coming out of turn 2. Throttle's wide open. He hits the wall just where the fucking gate is, just past where that exit gate is, removing his entire tire, brake, and front suspension assembly off of the vehicle. It flies through the air, and I'm looking at this straight at it. And Walt is standing there. The driver hits the wall, tire assembly comes over. And I remember this in fucking slow motion. It was slow motion, but it happened so fucking fast because the driver was doing close to 100 miles an hour when he hit that wall. And the distance between the impact on the wall and where Walt was standing was maybe 30 feet. So this was an instantaneous thing, but my mind saw it in slow motion, and I still see it in slow motion. So I heard Joe, the driver, trying to stop the car. So I hear the engine wide open, but I hear tires squealing because he's on the binders. And he hits the fucking wall. Tire assembly comes over. It comes right at Walt. And I remember seeing Walt's arm go up to try and block it. I mean, it's a fucking tire assembly off a modified thing. It was probably at least 50 pounds worth of steel and, hot steel and rubber. Easy 50 pounds. And it took Walt's arm off, hit him in the head. He went down. But I remember watching this and watching that entire tire assembly coming straight at my fucking head. And I remember it in slow motion. And it clipped the corner of the building. I mean, barely clipped. We're talking the scar that it made in the T111 was maybe 4 inches from the corner. I mean, it barely hit this building, but it hit it just enough to deflect it where it missed me by like 4 feet. And it hit the building and kind of diverted off to my left. And at that point it was, get to Walt. First person to him was another driver's wife who happened to be an ER nurse. Second person to him happened to be a law enforcement officer who, again, are all EMT trained up on Long Island. So he was receiving good care seconds after the impact. And I remember this in fucking slow motion. Now, Walt ended up dying. He passed away about a month after the accident. He never woke back up. They had him in an induced coma. Like I said, he was an old fella to begin with. An impact like that. I mean, it took his arm off it actually took his arm off in two places, halfway down his forearm and halfway up his upper arm. It ripped his arm off in two places, which is fucking bonkers. Very, very sad. I mean, I saw it happen. I like took a deep breath. I think I said, "Holy fuck." And then I ran to him. I wasn't qualified at the time to really do anything more than the nurse or the cop could do. So I kind of stayed there for a minute to, see if they needed help. If they needed help, I'd fucking help them. But after a while, I said, all right, enough. Thank you, Benny. Long time ago. And, the way we look at it is it's a racing deal, man. Races, race cars are inherently dangerous. Whether you're driving a race car, working around race cars, injuries happen. Unfortunately, fatalities happen. It's a nature of the sport. You try to mitigate it as much as possible, but it's a racing deal. And to be honest with you, I don't think Walt would have wanted to go any other way. Well, maybe getting laid. He probably would have wanted that. He was a dirty old man, and I loved him. He used to go home after the races. He used to go home, watch Walker, Texas Ranger. He'd talk about it all the time. I almost lost my colleague at a racing event. His skull was cracked from ear to ear around the back of his skull. Oof. Ooh, that's a rough way to go. That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, it's sad. Walt was a dynamite guy. Very, very sad. He was very well loved. Not within the racing community, the local racing community, the region. Everybody knew who this guy was. I mean, he was an old man celebrity and just a dynamite human being. Car lost power and backed into the entry wall, clipped the gate and threw the wing at my oof. Was this like dirt sprint cars? Like those like the World of Outlaws? I forget what the hell they're called. The ones the wing where one side's up, one side's down kind of thing. That sucks. But again, the overbuilding this. If we didn't build this building out of the materials we built it out of and placed it in the position that it was placed, and if we didn't build it if we didn't do what we did, I have no doubt in my mind that I probably would have fucking gotten it too. And it's one of those things where I remember it in slow motion. So I remember the tire coming at my head in slow motion and me thinking to myself, holy shit, that's a fucking tire coming right at my fucking head. I should probably move or do something. But it was like, you remember it in slow motion, but it was fucking instant. And I'm convinced that if that building wasn't there and we didn't build it to the extent we built it, I would have fucking eaten shit that day. It is what it is. It's not my only brush with death. I've had plenty, but that one kind of stuck out because that one, I mean, that would have been a cool way to go, to be honest with you. I mean, so that's the last dead body story I got for you. I miss you, Walt. He was such a good guy. Like nobody could say a bad thing about this guy. He was a NASCAR official. He was, he was honest as honest could be. He was fair when he needed to be firm. He was firm. Otherwise, he was your best friend. He was just a nice guy, a great official, and the world needs more Walt Edsels. Did you hear the $6 million man did you hear the $6 million man da robot sound? I did not hear that. See, hang on. This is crazy. My colleague survived, but was never the same. I lost a friend that day. Benny, I'm sorry to hear that. I know what you're talking about. Head injuries like that will change a person. Will definitely change a person. What's really funny about it's obviously not a funny situation, but what I find interesting is, you say driving in the early days, approximately 2008. In 2008, I was out of racing for 4 years at that point. I was out of it. And that in the early days, man, the early days when I was involved in it, which was through the 90s and early 2000s, the early days there were the 40s. This track itself was had been there since 1949. It opened in 48. NASCAR was founded in 49. So it was a year older than NASCAR. And actually, there's a picture of me floating around somewhere. I have it on Facebook. I think I put it on my Instagram and stuff. You know, follow that. There's a picture of me from that year, with Bill France Jr., who at the time was the chairman of NASCAR. His father, Bill France Sr., was the founder of NASCAR. And in the driver's seat of the golf cart in the picture is a gentleman named Jerry Cook, who at the time was, I think he was the president of the touring division, or vice president of the NASCAR touring division. Now he's currently NASCAR's competition administrator, and he is an absolutely phenomenal human being. He came up through the modified ranks, which was the earliest days of NASCAR racing, were modified cars. The modifieds are big in the Northeast. They have some races down here. I know they do a big event in New Smyrna. But you know, NASCAR modifieds, I really miss it. I miss being involved in motorsports more than I honestly, I think I miss being involved in motorsports more than I miss playing football. And I played football, my last game, almost exactly 10 years ago, was the last time I suited up, and went into battle. Scuzzy was my last game against the Sarasota Millionaires. Warren Moon was on the field for that game, not playing. He was helping out the coach, who the coach of the team, of the other team, was Ernie Givens, who played in Houston with Warren Moon. So there's a stupid fact for you. I do miss it, though. My whole life, I've always been, when I was younger, I was a big fan of NASCAR, big NASCAR fan. Alan Kulwicki was my guy, the 1992 Winston Cup champion, who unfortunately passed away the following year in a plane crash. But I was a big Alan Kulwicki fan, big NASCAR fan, like Round Round Racing. But I kind of lost after Dale Earnhardt died and I got out of racing. I kind of like stopped following it. I'd watch every now and again, pay attention to who was winning. You know, as I got older, the drivers I liked retired after Alan Kulwicki passed away. I was a big Rusty Wallace fan. Always loved Mark Martin. I was never an Earnhardt fan, which is crazy because everybody fucking loved Earnhardt. But yeah, I was never a huge Dale Earnhardt fan. I love his son. I was a huge fan of his son. But you know, now most of the drivers that I was following back then are all retired. I don't think any of them are fucking driving now. It's just crazy. It's getting old thing sucks. But lately, I've been actually getting more and more into drag racing, and not like Top Fuel or Funny Car. I'm talking about like more grassroots, you know, pro stocks, pro mods, stuff like that. Ken Block, yeah. Ken, you know, the whole Ken Block thing, he didn't die technically racing. It was a snowmobile accident. But, you know, for those who don't know who Ken Block is, go to the YouTubes after this show. Keep watching my show. But when I'm done, I want you to search Ken Block Gymkhana. One word, Gymk. Is it an H? I think it's Gymkana, Gymkhana. Cale Yarborough was the only NASCAR driver who mattered. Cale Yarborough, that's going into the fucking Wayback Machine, because that's the guy. Okay, there is an H in it. Yeah, check out Ken Block Gymkhana. It is some of the craziest fucking driving. Now, as you're watching the video, you can see it's multiple takes because there's already skid tracks on the ground. But it's some cool shit. Whether it's multiple takes or not, he still drove the car and made the car do those things, and it is fucking impressive. Absolutely impressive. So he wasn't a stunt. I mean, he was a stunt driver. He was actually a rally driver. You know, extreme sports guy. But it's super sad because he was actually a really good guy. If you watch some of the things he did in his life, one of the greatest videos I saw was him teaching his daughter how to drift a car, which is really, really cool. But the you know, you mentioned Cale Yarborough. I mean, it's fucking funny. You know, I grew up in New York, and Riverhead Raceway is on Long Island. It's still on Long Island. It's the oldest, like I said, it's the oldest paved NASCAR track in the country. But it wasn't the only NASCAR track to ever exist on Long Island. There was a track called Islip Speedway. There was also another track called Freeport Stadium. There were 3 NASCAR sanctioned tracks at one point on Long Island, which is fucking bonkers when you think of like grassroots NASCAR racing on Long Island. And it was, and still is, fucking huge. It's crazy. You think it's all fucking rednecks from North Carolina. No. These are people from fucking Nassau County living in New York City building modified race cars. It's insane. Kimi Räikkönen was a rally driver. Yep. If they did it in one take, they would need hundreds of cameras and cameramen. Yep. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So, but again, it's some impressive driving. But the Riverhead Raceway, Islip Speedway was, they used to actually run what was at the time the Grand National Tour, ended up becoming the Winston Cup, and now it's just the Cup Series or whatever the fuck they call it these days. I still can't watch it now, and I'll get into that in a split second. But the last race that the last Cup Series, at the time was called Grand National, but the last major series race that was run at Islip, I believe Bobby Allison won. And his family got into a fight with, who was it? It wasn't Cale Yarborough. May have been Ralph Earnhardt, the father or the grandfather. I forget who the hell it was, but somebody got into a fucking fight, and I think Bobby Allison ended up getting shoved under somebody's truck after getting the shit kicked out of him. There was some crazy fucking story like that. But I mean, to have that much racing history on Long Island is kind of cool. These days, I can't watch it. To me, racing, especially oval racing, is an endurance event. All right. It is, a 500-mile race, 500-lap race, whatever it is, that's the race. And when they're like, oh, they're throwing cautions for these stages, that's fucking stupid. It's not watchable. It's boring as fuck. Let them race. Drop the green flag. Only touch the fucking yellow or the red if there's some fucking danger. Otherwise, let them fucking race. A race is an endurance event. Pet peeve thing. But I can't watch it. It's boring to me now. Absolutely boring. They need to up the shit. Give me 1 second. And 13 minutes. We got 13 minutes to go. Yeah, I can't watch it. My son was watching it for a while, and he was he was into it, and then he kind of got bored with it. One of my fucking favorite things to watch is Cletus McFarland, believe it or not. If you've never seen Cletus on the YouTubes, definitely check him out. Benny, I'm not sure where you are geographically located, but Cletus McFarland, also known as Garrett Mitchell, that's his real name. He owns a racetrack down near Bradenton, Florida, probably about an hour or so from where I am in Tampa. He owns a racetrack that's called the Freedom Factory, and they do a lot of really cool shit there. I'm more into that. I've always loved that small time local race. I've been to big races. I've been to big races at Daytona, Pocono, Dover. I've been to a bunch of the big races at some of the big tracks, and that's got a cool atmosphere as it is. But there's nothing like that hometown Saturday night under the lights, the smell of that fucking racing fuel, the smell of the tires, the smoke in the air. There's just something about it, something magical that I got to say Cletus has captured. It's what he's done to this place. And this is the old DeSoto Speedway right next to Bradenton Motorsports Park, the drag strip, right off, I believe, State Road 64. Cleater is good value. Cleater is very good value. I was admiring Cleater's smile and happy disposition the other day. Man, Benny, let me tell you, if you're not in this area, ruined all the Crown Victorias in 200-mile area, he's been pulling him. He actually hired someone. I don't know if he's still got him on payroll. He hired someone whose full-time fucking job was to buy Crown Vics. That was this person's job, buy Crown Vics. You know what? I love Crown Victorias. I love Panther platform cars, Crown Victoria, Grand Marquis, Lincoln Town Car, the full-size 4-door rear-wheel drive, 8-cylinder powered. I love those cars. I've owned a few over the years, and I love them. I'm not sad about them racing those cars. I would actually love to see them start buying Grand Marquis and Lincoln Town cars and just changing the airbags out, because it's the same fucking car, same engine, same transmission, same drivetrain, and race those. Cleater, let me tell you, folks, if you don't know who Cletus McFarland is, he's a guy, he's from, I believe, Omaha, Nebraska. He came down to the Tampa Bay area to go to college. He started making silly videos with his friends, and they did a video where they bought like a turbo keychain and spooled it up with an air compressor. Then they put these whistles in the exhaust of his Corvette, and that video blew up. And I've been watching his videos kind of since the beginning. And this guy went from making stupid videos of doing shit like that, like blowing nitrous through a fucking turbocharger keychain, to now he owns the most fastest growing racetrack probably in the country. He's got one of the biggest automotive YouTube channels. He builds cars, race cars, does crazy shit. He's a winning driver on the drag strip and in the like the streetcar class, and he's just a phenomenal. And he's got a great personality. Auckland, New Zealand. I got alerted to your talk show via Charlie Safari. Oh yes, I love. Ben is such a nice guy. Benny, welcome from Auckland, New Zealand, my Kiwi brother. By the way, I have a cooking channel if you don't know, and I made Anzac biscuits. I'm not sure if that's if you guys do that in New Zealand. I know Anzac is Australia, New Zealand, the armed forces there. I did Anzac biscuits, and I made pavlova, and it was fucking delicious. But I made it at the request of an Aussie friend of mine. I know you guys have some differences to work out, like us and the Canadians, but we're all cousins. So awesome, man. Thank you for tuning in from Auckland. I love that. But man, if you ever come to the States, you know, it is definitely fuck going to New York City, fuck going to Washington, D.C., go to the Freedom Factory and support Cletus McFarland. That's the best advice I can give you. Yeah, man, the Anzac biscuits were awesome. And my buddy Matty, who lives in Brisbane, Australia, he's like, you make the Anzac biscuits. And he's like, you got to get Milo and have your Anzac biscuits and Milo. And I had no fucking idea what Milo was at all. And it was damn good. It was good. And that guy can get it locally here. So it's good stuff. So I appreciate you watching, man. Really do. Really, really do. Like I said, we're going to be doing, got the new studio coming. Australia, New Zealand Air Corps. That's what it was. Nice. Cool, man. Cool. But yeah, if you ever come, this is where you want to be. I mean, the weather's beautiful. But the feel that he's captured at this racetrack, man, it brings me back to my days at Riverhead. The smell, the sounds, the people, kids screaming and having a good time, and cheap hot dogs and flat beer. It's just it's an experience, and I love it, and I really love what he's doing with the place. I'm actually gonna go next month. Excuse me. There's some zoning changes that the county's trying to put in place. If you follow Cleater at all. I'm actually going to go and speak. Cletus doesn't know who I am. I've been to his track. I've met him. I've met his, just like, hi, nice to meet you, shake his hand, kind of thing. But, I am going to go because I have some strong feelings about motorsports and why it's important to have that available to people as spectators, as competitors, as an outlet for people to get their need for speed in a safe, controlled environment. You're saying if it comes to the USA, Florida is the place to be? Absolutely, buddy. Florida is the place. I mean, let me tell you, this country is absolutely beautiful. And one thing that I've always heard, and Ben will back this up. Ben Charlie Safari Wilson, I love the man. He will back this up, that this country has some of the most beautiful scenery and so diverse. Like here in Florida, it's pretty flat, it's hot, but you drive through Interstate 10, which goes from Florida, goes from coast to coast on the southern end of the country. But you drive through Texas and it's flat, and then you hit mountains and desert, and it's beautiful. You go up north and it's so green. It's beautiful. The Keys, yes. Driving from Key West all the way up to the mainland, the 7-mile bridge, the overseas highway. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The flip side is New Zealand is one of the places I want to go because I hear that is also absolutely beautiful. But we have every range from, the tropics of southern Florida and Hawaii all the way up to the frozen tundra of Denali National Park up in northern Alaska, where everything's permafrost. I rode a 250cc motorbike from LA to here on a 250. Jesus. Do you have any balls left, or they just knock them off? Jesus, that's crazy. But then again, you said you're a small guy. I mean, I'm 6'4" and 300 pounds, so a 250 would fucking end up sliding up my asshole. No bueno. So we're coming up on the windup. I love this. Folks, man, I really appreciate you guys tuning in and listening. It means the world to me. I love that Kokomo song. What's funny is, okay, so Kokomo, here's your fun fact. All right, Beach Boys. A couple fun facts about Kokomo before I go. First of all, the music video for it features John Stamos, also known as Uncle Jesse from Full House. He's in the video playing percussion with the Beach Boys, which he is actually credited as a member of the Beach Boys, which is kind of funny. But the video was filmed in Walt Disney World here in Florida at the Grand Floridian Resort before it opened to the public. So all the people in that music video that are watching the Beach Boys perform are actually Disney cast members. Disney refers to all their employees as cast members. They're all Disney cast members who were invited to check this out and portray the crowd. Now, Kokomo mentions all of these places: Montserrat, Port-au-Prince, Aruba, Jamaica, Ooh, I Want to Take You, Bermuda, Bahama, Come On Pretty Mama. But Kokomo is not a real fucking place. There is a Kokomo. It's in Indiana. Indiana is in the northern part of the country. It's landlocked and not near any tropical oasis. So Kokomo, as it exists in the song, off the Florida Keys, there's a place called Kokomo, is made up. There is no place called Kokomo. Now, cast members, it's Disney's concept is everything is a show. So when you're in the parks, you're in the show. Every employee there is part of the show. They're a cast member. It's kind of a cool way to look at it. A little bit creepy, but it's kind of cool. But so there's your info on Kokomo. Now, yeah, I'm pissed. You wanted to go to the Keys to go to Kokomo. Bubba the Love Sponge might know about Kokomo. No, you know who knows about Kokomo? Christopher Brian Roach, who played Mott on what the hell was that show that Kevin James was in after King of Queens? It was almost the same show as King of Queens, but it wasn't King of Queens. He played Kevin James' brother. He's a comedian from Long Island. He did a song called Ronkonkoma, which is talking about a town on Long Island called Ronkonkoma, where the train station, the big Long Island Railroad, runs down Long Island to New York City. He sung a song called Ronkonkoma, a little bit of a parody, which for any of us who've spent time on Long Island and have taken that silver snail from Ronkonkoma into New York City, we definitely appreciate it. And Chris is a funny guy and just a nice guy. So Bubba the Love Sponge, that's an A. I used to listen to him. I remember back in the early aughts, I used to listen to him on a Connecticut station when I was living in Long Island. I'll go to Mar-a-Lago. Mar-a-Lago is about 3.5, 4 hours away from me. I think it's 3 hours. See Trump. Do you know where Port Washington is? Yes, I do. It is on the North Shore. That's where the North Shore Animal League is, and I almost adopted a dog there once. All right, guys, we are down to the last minute. Again, thank you so much for watching. Next week, we'll be in the new studio space, so it'll be brighter. Hopefully have some guests in-house, and it'll be fun, although I do enjoy talking and interacting with you guys. Again, Benny, thank you again for tuning in from Auckland. Very much appreciated. Love you, cuz. Peter, always a pleasure to talk to you guys. Follow me on social media at Real Roger Nelson. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe this channel. Also my cooking channel known as Sugar, Salt, Fat, and Booze. Check that out. Yeah, again, thank you so much for watching. Big thanks again to Mike Peter from the Internet Radio Network. Check out the other shows on that, including Kevin Holly's show, Patrick Welsh, I'm Not Right. That's now on there. We got some great shows on there, so check it out. irnbroadcast.net. Thank you so much. Have a good night. And I'm going to take a moment to exit out. All right, guys. Love you. Bye.